Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, we're going to have a look at pretty much the best Yujin build for breach tracking, or just the best Yujin build full stop. So let's get right on into today's video. So let's start off with the modules for Yujin. So let's go in, starting off with the maneuvering module. So we'll be going with mid-air maneuvering for this build, and then for the red module, we're going to be using proliferating Allergy. Now, this is for Yujin's second ability, and honestly, his second ability is a bigger nuke than pretty much everyone is expecting. I can confirm to you, Yujin is the god, and this build just makes him a million times better. Now with this build, if we do go back out and look back in, you'll see that this is based off cooldown. So right off the bat, we are going to build for cooldown, then it says expandable range, so we're going to build for range as well, and then we will be building for damage. So that's going to be our three key things. For cooldown, we're going to go with all of the cooldown modules, so that will be MP conversion, nimble fingers, focus on non-attribute because he is a non-attribute type Pokemon, and then also focus on singular. So for this setup, there you go, that should be all that we need for cooldown. Next up, it was range, so we're going to slap on 2 range modules so that we reach his range cap. So we'll go with skill expansion and amplification control over there, and that's more than enough. Now if we look at Yujin's third ability, you'll see that we get a 15% skill critical hit rate increase. Now with this is already going to go crazy, and with this you will basically end up balling out already. So this is more than enough to basically build this into crit. So we are going with all 4 of the crit modules, so skill insight, emergency measures, concentration, and also front lines. So that's what we are going with right off the bat. Now for the trigger mod, my bad, we're just going to go straight with power beyond. You could also use Two-Faced, but I don't like the fact that Two-Faced is a gamble and blah 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 blah. So we're just going to sit nice and comfortably with power beyond with our nice damage increase. So that's going to be pretty much everything we need over for Yujin. So now let's have a look at the other parts of Yujin's setup. So next up, let's have a look at his weapons. Now, with the weapons on here, what you are going to want to do is go with one stat stick. So for my stat stick, I'm choosing the Peacemaker. Just all you need is a sprint core and a grapple core to pretty much get around fast. Now, the real DPS is going to be inside of the sword, which is going to be your elite nuking weapon. If you do want to build this fully and get yourself to as high crit rate as possible, you can also use the blue beetle, but I don't really recommend going with the beetle anyways, just because of the way that this build works, but we'll talk about that later. Next up, let's have a quick look at the reactor. So it's going to be a non-attribute singular reactor, and we're going to go with cooldown and crit damage. Both of these stats are non-negotiable, so yeah, we're going to quickly have a gander with these as your stats. So next up, let's have a look at the external components. Now with any non-attribute descendant, whenever you see the fact that they're non-attribute, your mind should go pretty much straight over to the mage set. Now the mage set is going to obviously work best for Yujin in this instance. For the cores and substats, what you're going to go with is max HP, MP recovery out of combat, max MP, MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier or defense and electric resistance, and then max shield, shield recovery modifier, and toxic resistance. With the cores on here, you're going to want to go with max HP and defense across all of them. I had toxic resistance on mine because I was testing something, but you're just going to want to go with max HP and defense across pretty much every single one of your cores, and that will basically sort you out nice and easy with the rest of this stuff. So now let's have a quick look at the arcade tuning tree. Now with any skill descendant, you're going to want to go straight across to the right and go all the way into skill power. Then you're just going to want to go all the way up here, grab yourself some cooldown, grab yourself some of the non-attribute cohesion up here. You can also use defense neutralization if you want, but cohesion's a nice little kick of damage anyways. And then we're just going to pick up and grab ourselves the crit damage. Nice and easy. That's pretty much the tree done and dusted. Now let's have a look at the weapons. With the weapons of this build, I'm tweaking. We're just going to use the Peacemaker as a stat stick, and honestly, same can be said for the Blue Beetle. You're just going to want a sprint core and a grapple core on both of these. For the Peacemaker, if you want a DPS build, this is what I've gone with. Ideally, you do want to run this as a stat stick more, with Defense Master and Tactical Change on there, so this is what you would want to be going. With the Blue Beetle, again, same story. Defense Master and Tactical Change are the only modules you'd actually want on there. And the big boy DPS is going to be, well, the Shadow. So these are the cores and substats that you're going to want. You'd go with 1 chance, 2 damages, a melee and a weapon attack. And then you'd just go with attack and then chance, toxic, and then trigger. Or you could go build into faction. For the Shadows mods, this is what you are going to want to go with. The DPS on here is pretty sweet, and it's going to allow you to absolutely rip everything apart. So let's have a quick look at the inversions just to wrap this segment up. I've gone with skill cost over here. That's going to help me out in terms of spammability and all that sort of stuff, so it's also very important. Then for the second one, I've gone with neurostimulation. A little bit of MP recovery does go a long way. And then I've gone with max health on there too, just to wrap this all together. Now let's have a quick look at the Ancestor mods. So for the Ancestor mod with Yujin, this is kind of what you're going to want to go for. Now, because his third ability does give a 15% skill rate, crit rate increase, you basically just want to take advantage of crit. So I would say even a singular skill boost with crit increase is nice, but if you want to find the right stats, crit rate to get yourself all the way up to max crit without needing to cast your third ability would be optimal for your DPS in this build. Crit damage would also be very good. Cooldown, because then you can replace one of your focus on modules with a power increase module for more DPS. A harmless negative with like shield or defense or something like that would also be pretty nice, at least with this setup. This is what you'd want. Singular skill power boost ratio would also be quite nice as well, because it'd be a big damage increase. Or non-attribute boost ratio. So yeah, you're gonna want to hold on to those, and that would be something that you kind of want to go with. In this instance, I have 151 crit rate, so I'm going to use this to replace emergency measures. Now, before I do replace emergency measures though, I do want to quickly just give everyone a heads up. With emergency measures, if we do take advantage of Yujin's first ability, or just any Yujin ability, not his first, his fourth ability specifically, sorry, you will see if we use the Blue Beetle, it will activate Arcane Energy. With this will push your crit rate up by 6%. And then with the third ability as well, you'll be at 85% crit rate with basically just, you know, Yujin on his own. The only thing is with that, you're going to have to rely on the Beetle for DPS, just because if you change it out, it does remove the buff, so it's not really worth it in that instance. So that's why we will not be using the Blue Beetle. For the Peacemaker, same story. In breach tracking, you can use your bike, so ultimately it does come all the way down to the sword. Now let's have a look at the gameplay to basically help put into perspective why we are using what we are using. So let's get on into the gameplay over here for Yujin. So with this, just loading in. Okay, there you go. Once we load in, excellent. Right, let's have a look at some gameplay over here for Yujin. Yujin barely looks himself. That is a horrible pun. You'll see over here, I'm just holding onto the sword the entire run. We'll start off with using our third ability, and then our fourth ability. We'll use the Allergy, which is the second on any mob, and it'll basically one-shot every mob anyways. Even if you don't use your third ability to get yourself additional crit rate, you will still one-shot everything. Even if you build Allergy into non-crit, you will still one-shot everything. You literally just choose a mob at random, and you use your first ability on them, your second ability on them, and then you just rip them apart with the sword, and you've basically pulverized the entire horde. That's how Yujin is currently in a state right now, where he can just do that, nuke the entire horde, spawn the next horde in, and nuke that horde too. Like, you can see every time I slash my sword, it's forcing a new wave of mobs to spawn, just because, well, what are they gonna do? Survive, lol. you can see how Yujin works in here. Essentially, you just want to make sure his 3 is always on, and then, you know, you'll get the DPS or the crit rate buff out there. And you can see, especially with the sword being buffed so heavily, it's going to annihilate everything. Now, again, with the shadow and its unique ability as well, I use the shadow to basically rip apart the elites in here, just because it really does go that way. Even with this, if I nuke one of the regular mobs, it'll almost delete half the boss's health as well, using the unique ability on the shadow, again pulverizing everything you see too. As far as it goes in Breach, Yujin is like one of, if not the most perfect Descendant for just annihilating an entire horde. And honestly, all my homies, we've been appreciating Yujin a lot recently, especially with all of the, you know, changes to him. But I still feel like whenever you want to return to peak Yujin, you return to the Allergy build. And then again, we're just going to use the sword and rip apart these elites. We're basically flying through every single one of these phases, and well, Yujin just kind of cooking with this one. Again, over here, I think this is the phase that took me the longest, just because I messed it up. Using the unique ability to delete the mini bosses or the elites. It's just kind of how Yujin plays at this point. I let myself eat too many hits in the face, so we went through with that. And then once the mobs came up here, just use the Allergy and you can one-shot the bosses as well. It's just satisfying being able to swing the sword literally once or twice and just poof, everything dies. It's literally the perfect gameplay synergy setup for just being lazy and also wanting the best performance. I don't see how it genuinely gets anything better than what Yujin is showing me right now, because I've tried a lot of Descendants in Breach, but none of them bring me close to the haha, screw you type of feeling that Yujin gives me. Because you can see here, for some reason my second ability didn't activate there, but you can see how he works. He's pretty cracked. Again, using the unique ability to take advantage of that. And we're on the final boss now. So does this final boss survive? Let's buff our Allergy, hit this one guy, and we've one-shotted the boss. We're going to do it again. We can't do it again because of his mob spawning in like that. But a few slashes with the sword puts me a little bit lower. Move back and then hit him with the unique ability, and that is done and dusted. Yujin pretty much clearing a breach in under, well, just about 3.5 minutes. This could also be done way faster as well if you have a better ancestor, or you know, you're just balling like that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on Yujin, guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.